Hello, thank you so much for joining me for today's foam rolling session. I just finished a workout. You can see I put my long sleeve back on because I get chilly very quickly, but remember, foam rolling can be done as a warm-up, as a standalone recovery session, or post-workout. It really is wonderful for you to do at any time of the day and can help alleviate the different pain and discomfort that may come up throughout the day from poor posture or a spasm that may happen due to us not being in the proper positioning throughout our day. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our psoas release. Now today's foam rolling session, you do need a softball or something about this size of softball. It could be slightly larger though. Smaller just doesn't really work. You will need, I'm using a lacrosse ball, but you could also use a tennis ball, or there's, in Pilates they have something called a pinky ball that could also work, and a foam roller. I happen to have a short version. You could have a longer version. They all will work. So we are going to start with our psoas release. To release your psoas, you're gonna find the front of your hip here. We're gonna go right inside of it. Now we're gonna go inside of it slightly below and slightly above. We are gonna do two parts of that psoas, hoping to get the most relief possible, and we're going to do both sides, all right? We're holding it for 90 seconds. Despite being called rolling, this one we don't actually roll. We're just gonna lay there and relax. And you're gonna want to completely relax down on this ball. So again, I'm gonna find kind of that soft spot. I'm not gonna go too medially. I'm not gonna go too towards the center. And then I wanna hit my bladder. That would be uncomfortable. And I'm just gonna relax down, hang out, and breathe. And if you find yourself rolling off the ball to the other side, because maybe it's a little intense, do your best to readjust right on top of that ball. And breathe into any discomfort. We're here for 90 seconds. You've made it for 15. This is usually the one of two release exercises I give somebody if their back goes out, as people usually say, which usually is like they spend too much time seated, they go to pick something up, and there's a spasm with this pain that shoots through their back. It's usually the spasming of the psoas, and this is the way we can release our psoas. We have about 30 more seconds here. And I'm in the, whether you did lower or higher for the psoas this first round, doesn't really matter. I am a little lower though. And I'm gonna move it up about half an inch. It's not a big move here in about 10 seconds. Beautiful. So adjust it up or down ever so slightly depending on where you started that first time. And just hang out. Do you love rolling? Do you hate rolling? I actually really enjoy rolling, but I don't make enough time for it. I think it's because we've been so conditioned to believe that we need to be on the go all the time that we just don't see it as a valuable use of our time, but it actually is so important. And I have, from an old pole vaulting injury, I always have a really tight left hip. And I should be spending more time helping alleviate some of that tightness through some rolling, but I don't make the time. So my pledge to whoever watches this video and does it with me, I'm gonna start making a little bit more time. I'm gonna work it in to try to really help my hip. Because you know, next week, well,
Who knows when you're gonna watch this video, but next week from now when I'm recording it, I'm gonna be 41. And you gotta take care of yourself. Your joints are super important. In about 8 seconds, we're gonna switch to the other side. Good, go ahead and switch to the other side. Start lower or higher, either one is fine. You're gonna do both. Now, it is not uncommon for one side to be significantly more sensitive than the other. Good job. The more you relax into the ball, the deeper it can go. Sometimes you'll start to feel it actually feel like it's radiating almost to your low back, and that is 100% okay. So the reality is that the psoas muscle connects from the front of the hips, front of the pelvis, to the low back. And that's why we often feel the pain in the back. But the only place we can really access it, because it's such a deep muscle, is here on the front. So if you feel it go into the low back a little bit, that's not a problem. We have about 30 more seconds. Now we're gonna move it. This side is easier for me to relax deep into because it's not as tight. I remember this is, gosh, so long ago, 15 years ago, probably 17 years ago maybe, when I was first learning about rolling, and I was training out of a studio, and this trainer had just had his first child, and he was doing some rolling between clients, and he was so tired. He fell asleep laying on the softball. Can you imagine falling asleep right now? Good. Go ahead and move it up or down, whichever one you need to do. He literally fell asleep on the softball because he was so exhausted. We look over, we thought he was rolling, and he's just completely knocked out. So I guess there is a world in which this is not uncomfortable, at least not enough to where you can't fall asleep. I actually feel something on this right side I wasn't expecting to feel. It's like a treasure hunt. Gotta breathe into it a little bit. I may have more experience than some of you guys with some of these things, but still feel it. Have to work through my own discomfort sometimes. I'm always telling you guys to push through the discomfort, as long as you're obviously not going to injure yourself. For 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right. Now, in a normal instance, I would tell you to do that again on both sides for 90 seconds a piece, especially if you were experiencing back pain or spasms. So if you are feeling that, feel free to pause the video, do it again in both of those spots for 90 seconds a piece, and then join us. So now we're gonna take this smaller ball. We're gonna place it right next to our spine on the right side, right above the glutes, and next to the spine, but not touching the spine. We're gonna allow our weight to sink into it, and once our weight has sunk into it, we're gonna shift our hips out to the to the left. The ball's gonna roll out to the right, and each time we get close to the spine, we wanna really sink into it again. 2 more. 1 more.
Good, now move it up just half an inch. And sink in again. And roll. Now probably on, it's a little different for each person, but probably somewhere between 3 and 4. So like we're on 2 right now, we've just moved it to our second position. So usually somewhere between your 3rd and your 4th for most people. We've got 2 more rolls here. They're gonna come across a particularly sensitive spot. And that is where your QL, your quadratus lumborum, good, let's move it up, and your psoas that we just released, insert, all right? And so that spot, it's gonna be more lateral, right, out towards your side. That spot can be sensitive, especially if you sit a lot. Actually, if you do either a lot of sitting or a lot of standing, because if you're somebody who, let's say, stands at a desk all day, you may also have it from too much standing. We need a variety of both. We aren't made to do one thing for a very, very long time. So you may feel it either kind of at spot 3 or spot 4. Let's do one more roll. Good, and move it up again. Now I want you to make sure, for me it's at 4. I want you to make sure that you are not rolling over any ribs, okay? We don't want to be interacting with any of our bones, just the muscles today. Good job. Beautiful. Last one. Great. Let's switch to the other side. And I don't know what happened to our music, but I'm sure whatever technological glitch we're having will figure itself out. So go ahead on the other side and shift. Sometimes songs have really long, almost silent outros or intros, which is so strange to me. It's like when you're a kid and you needed to write, or when you were in school and you needed to write an essay and you like picked a font and double spaced things so that you would fill up all the pages, right? That's how I feel sometimes with songs. I'm like, why is your outro practically silent for 30 seconds? Good, move it up 1. You tighter on one side than the other. You may be surprised. So oftentimes, because of the way the fascial tissue, the connective tissue that's over our muscles, the way it runs through our body, let's say you're like me and you have a tight left hip. Oftentimes your right mid-back is going to be the spot that is more sore, and then the right quad or hamstring, left quad or hamstring, just because there's a little bit of a zigzag pattern that happens. Good, let's move it up again. So sometimes where you expect to be sore, you won't be sore. And you're like, why am I sore over there? It's because of that fascial line, the way it runs through the body to keep you all held together. Move it up again. This is probably your last stop in terms of how far up you can go without running into your ribs. have one more spot, go ahead and do it now. I feel like I could go a little bit further. If not, you're welcome to either pause or just hang out on a spot that felt good. Or two more. Last one. Beautiful. All right. So we're gonna come off of there. We're gonna go ahead and grab our roller and we're gonna have a seat on it. So we're gonna go to our glutes. I'm gonna cross my right ankle over my left knee. I'm gonna shift onto my right glute, bringing my left hand across, and I'm gonna roll. So today's focus has all been on kind of helping to unlock the hips. You might be thinking, but we did our back, we did our psoas, but where we feel pain, where we feel discomfort is often caused by somewhere immediately above or below the area. It's rarely from the actual area that we're feeling the pain or discomfort. So we want to release all of the stuff around it to see if it in turn gives us that open, less painful feeling that we're looking for. More range of motion. So let's switch to the other side. One thing about foam rolling is that it never quite feels the same. Just because you're moving your body in different ways between foam rolling sessions, and so different parts of you might be sore or tight. So you can roll your glute and normally be tight on one side, and today you're more sore or tight on the other side. It never quite feels 100% the same. It's kind of interesting like that. Beautiful. All right. So we're gonna go to our quads next. But with that being said, we're gonna be focusing our area kind of in this, or focusing our attention on this area kind of here at the top of the quad. And kind of where you might think your hip flexors are. And we're just gonna do little small rolls back and forth. And start to kind of rotate a little bit, so you're gonna get a little different part there. So I'm turning my back to you guys, but that way you can see I'm kind of starting to open up that other leg and hip start coming up, because I really want to get all the different angles the front of that quad. And you're gonna probably find a spot that's more sensitive. Feel free to spend a little more time there. If you don't have any sensitive spots, just keep rotating around. All right, let's switch to the other side. Little small rolls. And obviously there's so much rolling, more rolling we could be doing. There are other areas we could be releasing to help our hips, but we've only got like 20 minutes, right? So I want you to keep cycling through all the different foam rolling videos that I have in the app, so that you are getting your whole body. You're not neglecting any areas, because if you keep rotating through them, you will eventually be targeting pretty much your whole body. I need to add some more upper body stuff in there. Good, top of the quad, into that lateral part. Out on the outside, I can get way out here. Awesome. All right. That's it, guys. 20 minutes came and went. We crushed it. Hopefully you feel that you have more range of motion, maybe more mobility through those hips. Hopefully if you were experiencing pain, you are experiencing less now. I'm so proud of you for taking the time to take care of your body, and I'll see you again soon.